Welcome back. In his latest bid to reshape global trade in favor of U.S. businesses, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a sweeping executive order imposing higher tariffs on several nations and the 27-member European Union, significantly escalating his administration's global trade offensive. The order is set to take effect from the 7th of August, 7 days after its issuance, with rates going up to 41%. India has been slapped with a 25% reciprocal tariff adjusted, one of the higher rates among key U.S. trading partners. The White House justified the move by citing India's obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers, persistent trade imbalances, and strong energy and defense ties with Russia. This higher rate threat from Trump also included an unspecified penalty for India's purchases of Russian oil against the backdrop of the war in Ukraine. Well, in a post on Truth Social, Trump said that India's tariffs were amongst the highest in the world. Well, viewers, the US's total goods trade with India stood at an estimated $130 billion in 2024. India's exports to the US totaled $87.4 billion in 2024, a 4.5% increase from 2023. India's trade surplus with the US, which is its largest export market, stood at 1.2% of the GDP in 2024. Notably, India is the largest exporter of non-patented drugs to the US at an approximate value of $8 billion per year. US accounts for nearly one-third of India's pharma exports, around $9 billion in 2024. Meanwhile, the US has also decided to impose a 20% tariff on Taiwan, 19% each on Cambodia and Thailand, a 30% tariff on South Africa, and a 15% tariff on Turkey. The Trump administration has also imposed a 15% tariff on Israel and South Korea, along with a 39% tariff on Switzerland, which has triggered a fall in the Swiss franc against the US dollar. Canada's tariffs have also been raised to 35% from 25% earlier. On the other hand, Pakistan, which announced a deal with the US on Thursday, has received a 19% tariff rate, while Bangladesh's rates, which earlier stood at 35%, have been brought down to 20%. Pakistan was earlier hit with 29% reciprocal tariff in April. We'll talk about this and what does this mean for India with our guest. Joining us on the platform is Ambassador Veena Sikri, former diplomat, Dr. Ajay Dua, former Commerce Secretary, Senior Economist, with us on the program as well. Dr. Sharat Kohli, Senior Economist, joins us on the program as well. Dr. Kohli, I'll begin with you. What does this 25% tariff mean for India? What does it mean? Let's forget about the diplomacy. Let's forget about the relationship. Let's talk about brass tacks. When it comes to the two nations having a trade deficit as well, what does this mean for India? And are the Americans making a mistake, a grave mistake, by not realizing that India is on a quest, Dr. Kohli, to be Atmanirbhar? Perhaps this is an opportunity for us to look outside, or perhaps, should I rephrase, look within and not depend on America, even for defense procurements. Dr. Kohli.
Good evening, Vineet. Good evening to Ambassador Sikri. Good evening to the NewsX viewers. When you were speaking out in your opening statement, I was remembering a game of roulette. You just move the needle, somebody gets number 15, somebody gets number 19, somebody gets 25, somebody gets 35, somebody gets 39, and of course you're looking for the winner there. It also reminds me of a school result where, as if the students have scored these marks and you're scrambling to look at the signboard where your name appears. What is this going on? I just fail to understand. You asked me whether President Trump is right. Will they regret? Yes, he's going to regret. He's letting himself down. He's letting America down. As far as India is concerned, we are not bothered. Our markets are reacting a little bit. It's a short-term, knee-jerk kind of a reaction. We'll settle down. America is not the end of the world. We've got the whole world to do business with. We've just had a deal with the UK. We've done a deal with Australia. We've done a deal with UAE. We are pursuing a deal with EU, with ASEAN countries. But who's going to be the loser at the end of it? And for God's sake, through your show, I would like whosoever is watching us at this point of time, I would like to say, even if they are exporters of leather, footwear, textiles, electronics, gems and jewelry, pharmaceuticals, the list goes on. If you're watching and you are into business with the US, please do not get worried for two reasons. One, the world is the market for us. America is, as I said, not the end of the world, number one. Number two, President Trump will realize sooner than later that he's in a self-destructive mode. Mr. Donald Trump, is trying to inflict America with inflation. And you know how this stands vindicated, Vineet? It's not me as an economist saying. His own Fed chairperson, Jerome Powell, couple of days ago, there is a FOMC, the Fed, committee, which decides, like we have RBI Monetary Policy Committee. Similarly, in America, we call it FOMC, Form C as we call it. There are 11 members of Form C. Or Priyanka Gandhi.
I was just being sure. Go ahead, sir.
Now, this is pure numbers. $36 trillion of debt. They are adding $1 trillion every 18 months. It's an over-leveraged economy. In Hindi, there is a word called, pardon me for using a Hindi word here, it's called khokhla. Khokhla means when you're empty from inside. The economy is empty from inside. They are living in a make-believe world. Oh, this is United States of America. We are the bosses of the world. They are trying to colonize. This is economic colonization. He's gone back 30 years, President Trump. He thinks everybody is going to come and touch President Trump's feet. Sir, please take my goods and don't impose tariff on me. As if, the student goes to the principal, sir, please don't fail me this year. I promise you I'm going to study hard and next year I'll come out with flying colors. What is this happening? Who does he think he is? He may be a superpower on record. But then the fact of the matter is, from an economic point of view, it's a khokhla economy. The per capita may look very high. America may be a tech boss, we have Metas and Googles and, Amazons and so on and so forth, but that's the only strength. And what I fail to understand, that this strength itself should have been a feeling of relaxation for President Trump. You have Coca-Colas and Pepsis and McDonald's, but isn't that enough? What do you want to do? You want to probably rule the world and dictate terms. And the biggest thing that he's forgetting, what you spoke in your opening statement, if there is a trade surplus, which India has, for example, with America or some other country has, this trade surplus has evolved after decades of think tank. There's been thinking, I make something nice, you make something nice, I make something cheaper in my country, my geography is better, my climate is better, so I can export this to you, you do better on that, I take that from you. That is how trade evolves. This gun on the head trade is, in my 3.5 decades of economic career, I have never seen gun on the head kind of a trade. How can you export and import by putting gun on somebody's head? After all, it's a consumer-driven factor. It's a factor driven by simple economics, which is called demand and supply. He wants to force things on people, and on top of that, he wants investment to come into America. Can the investment come in like this? What about your cost of production? You set up a factory. Well, $200,000 per acre is the average cost of land in America. $40 per hour is the cost of skilled labor in America. For God's sake, get those factories. I'm fine. Can you get those factories overnight? So what is he trying to do? American consumers, Vineet, are going to shed tears. You wait and see for 4 to 8 weeks. Dollar will fail. The economy is already in recession, by the way. A person who calls Indian economy as dead, little does he know that his own economy is technically in recession. They may be hiding numbers, but the fact is they are in recession at this point of time, Vineet.
All right. Ambassador Veena Sikri, in fact, Donald Trump had put out another post